Who really touched Top 5? The rumors have been loud, the whispers even louder, and the streets are flooded with 100 different versions of the truth. But only a few know what actually happened. In this gripping investigative documentary, we dive deep into the mystery, cutting through the lies, the legends, and the noise to uncover what's real and what's pure fiction. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and buckle up, because this ride is about to take you somewhere you didn't expect. July 13th, 2025, London, England. In the very centre of Finsbury Park, the heart of North London, the Wireless Festival is in full, electrifying swing, a sprawling sea of flashing lights piercing through the evening haze. Bass lines so heavy they seem to shake the very ground beneath thousands of feet, and tens of thousands of fans gathered in unison to celebrate music, energy and culture at its rawest and most vibrant. Among this restless, pulsating crowd stands Canadian rapper Hassan Ali, better known to the streets and the scene simply as Top 5, an artist known not only for his music but for the controversies that trail him like a shadow, and more recently for his deep, tangled ties to some of the most powerful names in global rap, including none other than Drake, who just so happens to be headlining that very night. But what neither Top 5 nor anyone around him could have possibly known in that charged moment was that while he was immersed in the music, the flashing cameras, and the wild, unrelenting energy of the crowd, somewhere else in that sprawling city, gears were already turning behind the scenes. Someone was laying the groundwork, meticulously and silently, for an ambush that would not only shake the streets, but send ripples crashing through the entire music industry itself. Unbeknownst to him, Top 5 was walking straight into a trap. By the end of that night, he would not be trending for his latest hit, his designer outfit, or his electrifying presence at Wireless. Instead, he would be trending across every major platform for a far more shocking reason, because he had become the victim of a brutal, near-fatal attack that would leave him hospitalized in critical condition, clinging to life. While rumors, theories, and half-truths spread like wildfire across social media channels, fueling speculation and division. What followed was nothing short of a media frenzy and a digital wildfire of unprecedented scale. Fans were left confused and searching for answers. Blogs scrambled for the hottest headlines, conspiracies flooded timelines with every imaginable theory, and the streets cried out for truth. Why was Top 5 targeted? Who was behind this violent act? And how could something like this happen in a city supposedly bristling with security, star power, and thousands of watchful eyes? Now I know exactly why you're here, because unlike the click-chasing accounts and the one-sided narratives flooding your feeds, your boy David Strappingborough, aka Mr. Inconspicuous, doesn't deal in guesswork. I dive deep, I break things down properly, I look at every angle, connect the dots and call out the lies whenever I see them. And just like I've done before, this deep dive documentary is for the ones who want the real story, not the noise. So let's go back. Let's retrace the steps carefully and thoroughly. Let's uncover the full truth about what really happened to Top 5 at Wireless, because this wasn't random. The streets know it, and now, so will you. Now Top 5 saw himself fall victim to an attack that nearly left his head peeled back like a yogurt top, and he is currently recovering in hospital. Well, in fact, by the time this video is out, Top 5 is currently resting in Paris, France, recovering both physically and mentally from what can only be described as one of the most shocking and public unaliving experiences the rap world has seen this year. But for those of you that don't know, let me explain who Top 5 is and how he has become so infamous, because understanding his name is key to understanding why this moment was never going to be brushed off as just another random incident. When you mention the name Top 5, you're not just talking about a rapper, you're talking about a walking headline. A man who spent more time in the news for crime than he has for music, yet still commands the kind of attention most artists would kill for. Born Hassan Ali, Top 5 didn't just flirt with controversy. He married it, fed it, and then brought it into the spotlight with him every single time he posted, performed, or popped up unexpectedly online. Whether it was his relentless Instagram antics, threats to ops on live, or his unpredictable beefs with other rappers, this is someone who built his entire brand off chaos, disrespect, and unpredictability. He knew exactly how to keep people watching, even if it was out of shock, confusion, or disbelief, and for better or worse, it worked. But everything changed when his name was linked to something far darker. A first-degree M case that sent shockwaves through Toronto. The city was already tense, dealing with street politics, clashing rap cliques, and ongoing feuds. But this was different. This was headline news. Top 5 was arrested, accused of being involved in a targeted blamming that left one man unalived. The streets were buzzing, the media had a field day, and the city was watching closely. While most would fold under that kind of pressure, Top 5 doubled down, taunting the law, hopping in and out of custody, and turning court dates into PR moves like he was untouchable. And just when it looked like the story was finished, whispers started to spread. Drake, the sixth god himself, was allegedly pulling strings in the background. Rumors swelled that legal teams were moving differently, that Top 5 had protection far beyond the average street rapper. Some said he was just lucky, others said he was too connected to fall. Eventually he beat the case, walked free, and came back louder, cockier, and more reckless than ever, cementing his name in Toronto's criminal folklore as someone who didn't just survive the pressure but thrived in it. Love him or hate him, Top 5 became a symbol of something bigger, a walking contradiction, street certified and industry connected, unfiltered, unhinged, and somehow still untouched. The kind of presence that made both fans and enemies nervous, because you never knew what he would do next. And that's what made him dangerous. That's what made him infamous. And that's why, when news broke about the wireless incident in London, everyone knew this wasn't just some random attack. This was deeper. On Monday morning at 9 AM, I woke up, went on social media, started scrolling, and immediately noticed the same headline everywhere. Top 5 has been touched in the neck in London and is in critical condition. At first, there wasn't much information out there, just speculation. But then a grainy, viral video appeared on Twitter, and the gossip began. This brings us to story number 1. Now remember I mentioned that Drake had flown into London on a private jet full of streamers? Well, some of those streamers were from the Nelk Boys, and it turns out Top 5 linked up with them for a quick stream that would end up going viral. During that stream, Top 5 said the now infamous line, "There's no real guys here in the UK. You can even show your address here." That one line alone had UK goons foaming. See, Top 5 was strolling through London like he ran it, hitting spots like Manor House, moving around Harrods, shopping like the city belonged to him. To the London streets, it looked like he was disrespecting them on their turf. And word started to spread fast. The goons wanted revenge, and they wanted to teach Top 5 a lesson. Now here's the first version of what allegedly happened that night. It was just after 11:30 PM, and Wireless Festival was winding down. The energy was still in the air, adrenaline, bass, flashing lights, and fans spilling into the streets outside Finsbury Park. But while everyone else was celebrating, Top 5 and his crew were on the move, taking a very different route. After hours in the VIP section watching his close friend Drake shut down London, Top 5, real name Hassan Ali, was seen climbing into the passenger seat of a silver Mercedes-Benz, accompanied by his team. Inside the car, the vibe was relaxed, calm, maybe even victorious. They pulled off from the festival grounds and reportedly started heading toward the Manor House area, a short drive away. But what happened next flipped everything on its head. Whether it was a wrong turn or just bad timing, the Mercedes ended up caught in the middle of a street party. Not the fun kind. This was an unauthorized block function with roadside speakers, crowds spilling into traffic, and people everywhere. The car was trapped. It couldn't move. It was crawling through noise and confusion. Then, something shifted. Out of nowhere, a group of masked men, at least a dozen, began closing in. What was a crowd turned into a mob. Witnesses say the attackers swarmed the vehicle, climbed on the roof, stomped the car, smashed the windscreen, and began targeting the vehicle like it had a price on it. The chaos was caught on camera, men attacking the car from every side, some trying to rip the driver out, others laser-focused on Top 5 in the passenger seat. Then, in the middle of the storm, Top 5 received an injury to his leg. The attack was quick, surgical, ruthless, glass everywhere, screams, panic. The boot of the car flew open in the scuffle, swinging wildly as the driver hit the gas, weaving through bodies and noise, trying to escape. By 12:15 AM, the Metropolitan Police had been called. Paramedics arrived shortly after. Top 5 was rushed to hospital, hurt but alive. His injuries were not considered life-threatening, but here's the kicker. Just hours before, Top 5 had posted videos from the VIP section, partying like nothing could touch him. In one now viral clip, he stared directly into the lens and said, "There are no real killers in London." To some, that was just banter. To others, it was a declaration of war. And a few hours later, the streets answered, and they answered violently. Now social media users and media pages, even the tabloids, ran with this story and were certain it was Top 5. A photo of someone lying on the floor next to a beat-up Merc started circulating online. At that point, people didn't know if this was a publicity stunt or if it had really happened. But social media and its commentators from the UK were taking full credit, claiming it was London guys who did it. So, is this really what happened to Top 5 on that night? Stay tuned as I will let you know if this story holds any weight soon. The next story is similar to story number 1. Top 5 has always been an outspoken figure, loud, unfiltered, and rarely bothered by controversy. Over the past few months, Top 5 found himself entangled in a brewing UK beef between M24 and Low Ski. While M24 was out in Toronto, he linked up with Top 5, and that's where things took a turn. In a video that quickly made the rounds online, Top 5 could be seen mocking Low Ski's affiliates alongside M24, a moment that clearly didn't sit well with certain people back in the UK. Now if we fast forward to Top 5's trip to London, on that same Nelk Boys stream, he looked Kyle straight in the face and said, "There's no real guys in London." That comment reignited everything. Not long after, we hear about the incident in Manor House, where Top 5 was allegedly rushed in a grey Mercedes, ambushed and touched by a masked group. Word on the street? Allegedly, these goons were sent by Harlem Spartans and the Southside Mandem as revenge for Top 5 disrespecting their fallen friend. Is that really the reason behind what happened to Top 5 on that night? Well, again, stay tuned and we'll let you know soon enough. Now let's open case number, story number 3, and you might want to sit down for this one because it gets crazy. This entire situation starts with a wild guy. We won't mention his real name here. For the sake of the story, let's just call him Jay. Now, Jay wasn't your average bloke. According to what's being said, he was involved in some serious financial dealings. Supposedly, he was part of a high-stakes business operation that spiraled out of control. In a tragic twist, his business partner, who also happened to be his best friend, was unalived in front of him. After that, Jay fled his home country of America to a hotter climate overseas, allegedly taking millions with him. He kept a low profile, stayed off the radar, paranoid, constantly looking over his shoulder. But while he was hiding from the past, he was also desperate for something new, a new image, a new wave, and more than anything, attention. He wanted clout. He wanted to go viral. He wanted to be known. That's where Top 5 saw an opportunity. While Top 5 was on vacation, he crossed paths with Jay. Top 5 picked up on Jay's vulnerability instantly. He saw a guy with money, no real street awareness, and a craving for fame. And like any good con man, he didn't push. He offered help. He presented himself as a friend, someone connected, someone who could open the right doors and make things happen. The first play was simple. Top 5 tells Jay he can get him on a live stream with Aiden Ross, one of the biggest streamers in the game. Jay's eyes light up. He agrees. The price? $465,000. Jay wires the money without hesitation. Within a few days, Aiden sends $400,000 of that payment directly to Top 5 and keeps the rest as his cut. To be fair, Aiden Ross, doing a stream for $400,000 seems pretty cheap. I would imagine that's around the going rate to do business with Aiden Ross on a good day. Aiden also sending Top 5 a finder's fee is pretty much standard practice in business, so no one here has actually done anything wrong so far. But please remember, this story isn't verified. It's all alleged up until this point. Anyway, back to the story. At this stage, Jay thinks everything is going smoothly. He's starting to believe the hype. But Top 5 isn't done. He knows Jay is hooked, and now it's time for the big move. He tells Jay that he can arrange something even bigger, a direct connection with Drake. Not just a follow or a shout out. We're talking about a full-on music video collab, a serious link-up that would launch Jay into the spotlight, the kind of exposure most people can only dream about. Once again, Jay takes the bait. He sends $500,000 straight to Drake's team. And, as promised, Drake follows him back on Instagram. But here's where the story flips, and the finesse hits a new level. Drake had no idea about any music video. All he was told, allegedly, was that someone wanted to follow, nothing more. The entire music video story, completely fabricated by Top5. But Jay doesn't know this. He thinks he's on the verge of stardom. Everything looks legit to him. And this is when Top5 makes his final move. He tells Jay that everything is ready to go. Drake's team just needs one last crypto payment to lock in the final plans. Jay, fully convinced at this point, wires $1.5 million to a new wallet address. What he doesn't realize is that this wallet doesn't belong to Drake or anyone from his team. It belongs to Top5, and just like that, boom, Top5 disappears, vanishes into the wind. Allegedly, he jumped on a flight and returned to Toronto without a single trace. No music video, no deal, no Drake. Just an Instagram follow and a massive hole in Jay's pockets. The total damage, $2.5 million gone, just like that. Oh, and it gets worse. Top5 didn't just take the money. He also allegedly walked off with Jay's Richard Mille watch, one of the most expensive luxury timepieces you can own. Jay is now livid. He's convinced he's been double-crossed. In his mind, this was all part of a bigger scheme involving both Top5 and Drake. But from the outside looking in, it seems more likely that Drake was used as a pawn, and Top5 played the whole thing like a master manipulator. A cold, calculated finesse, a clean getaway. And this is one of the wildest scams floating around the internet right now. But remember, it's all alleged at this point, but it doesn't end there. Sometime later, Jay hops on a live stream with academics, publicly calling out both Top5 and Drake. He claims they were both involved, that they both finessed him. In the middle of the stream, things escalate when Top5 actually joins the call, and that's when it gets heated. Jay starts making some not-so-nice gestures toward Top5 live on air, something along the lines of saying he'd make Top5 swim with the fishes, saying he wants revenge and demanding his money back. Now fast forward to the night Top5 was attacked, and here's where the conspiracy theories start flying. Allegedly, while Top5 was being rushed to hospital after getting jumped, Jay was seen partying somewhere in London. Not only that, but according to a few sources, Jay was allegedly celebrating the attack, telling people that he got Top5 done. Whether or not that's true is up for debate, and to be honest, it could all be completely bogus. But it's out there, and the streets are talking. As for whether I personally believe this story is true or not, I'll break that down at the end of the video. But one thing's for sure. If even half of this is real, it might be one of the most cold-hearted, high-level scams we've seen in the influencer world. Anyway, stay tuned and watch the full video. I'll explain whether or not this theory is true and give you my full breakdown. Because this story, it's been nothing short of wild so far. Now, last but not least, story number 4. This one's wild. Top5 recently turned on his own crew. Some of them were spotted chilling with The Weeknd, and since Top5 is cool with Drake, he didn't like that at all. He felt betrayed. In retaliation, Top5 cut off all contact with his crew completely, and dissed them live across his social platforms. But it didn't stop there. Things in Toronto started moving fast. Top5 kicked off a full-blown beef with YG, Boondog, and Presser. These guys aren't just rappers. They're experienced criminals with serious reputations. And as soon as the Bayern were fired in Driftwood by the GGs, they all disappeared. Boondog flew to overseas, Presser left for America, YG dipped to Turkey. They weren't just running away. They knew Top5 being active in the city was a serious problem. People were getting hit. The streets were tense, and they wanted him gone so they could move safely again, especially after something serious just happened in the city. Then Top5 posted that he had landed in London. Within hours, YG flew to the UK from Turkey. It's only a 4-hour flight. He pulled up to the Wireless Festival where Top5 was at. He posted Instagram stories from the crowd, right there, and started dropping subtle hints, memes with tools, emojis, and coded messages. It all felt serious. Hours later, more posts from YG appeared. More tool jokes, more indirect warnings, then complete silence. The next morning, I woke up and saw the news. Top 5 had been touched in London, right after YG deleted all his stories from the concert. His final post showed him flying out of the UK that very same day, allegedly. But here's the thing, I don't believe YG touched him himself. That would be reckless and stupid. YG is known for brokering deals for the crews in Toronto's. He doesn't get his hands dirty. He finds hitters, pays them off, and walks away clean. Just look at some cases back in Canada, where he is from. His artist got arrested in British Columbia after doing a drill with the crew he allegedly brokered a deal with. It's all connected. The patterns are there. YG most likely paid someone local to handle it. Bundog's people have money, and to them, spending it on something like this is nothing. Allegedly, the word on the street is that YG is linked to over 15 M for hire plots, all tied directly to the organizations he does business with. But this is all alleged and could very well be fabricated, so who knows? So no, Top 5 getting touched wasn't random. By the looks of it, it was planned. But planned by who? That's the reason you're watching this video, right? Well, you're about to find out. Now that we've covered the 4 main stories, trust me, there are way more theories out there, but these are the ones that really took over the street. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through each one and tell you whether there's a high chance it actually happened or if it's all just noise. Starting with number 1. Everyone swore that grey Merc flying through Manor House had Top 5 inside it. But let's be real, Top 5 in a basic silver Merc. That doesn't sound right. He moves in chauffeured black Jeeps, we've all seen it. Plus, nobody in that video mentioned his name. No one said it was him. His voice can't be heard. No, nothing. Then Top 5 himself denied it was him, and academics backed it. And Top 5 actually wasn't at the scene. So yeah, story 1 has been debunked. So this first story is more gossip than actual fact. Now story 2. It's the same footage as story 1, with the same claims, people saying, "Yo, that's Top 5 in the Manor House video," but again, nothing credible here. No real links can be made. Both Top 5 and academics shut it down fast. And as for UK involvement, Lowski M24, there's zero confirmation they had anything to do with this. So story number 2 is now debunked as well. Now, let's move on to story 3. This one's got some flair apparently. Jay, the rich guy, funded the whole thing. Now listen, the backstory sounds believable. The guy's got a wild past, shady business, the whole package. But did he actually pay for a hit? There's no evidence, no proof he was even in London that weekend. At this moment, it feels like a stretch, so for now, story number 3 is debunked as not true. But now story 4, this is where it gets interesting. Word is that Top 5's old Canadian crew touched down in the UK and were spotted at Wireless. And W were allegedly lurking outside the club hours before the incident. There's even footage from the aftermath showing someone masked up, running from the scene. The resemblance to a known Toronto figure is uncanny. After Top 5 gained some energy back from the attack, he posted a picture of one of the most powerful men alive. The same man who survived an assassination attempt. A few hours later, his rivals posted the man responsible for that attempt. Was that a coded message? Was it self-snitching? Or just dark humor? You tell me. But here's the thing, this story doesn't end with the attack. This wasn't random, it was planned, coordinated, calculated. Whoever was behind it wanted Top 5 out of the picture, no questions asked. And the deeper you go, the more things connect. Brothers, rivals, money, egos, power. As of now, Top 5 was last seen in Paris, still recovering, still silent. But rumor has it more arrests are coming, so stay locked in, because trust me, this war is far from over. In my opinion, after gathering all the evidence online from third-party sources, looking at the timeline and assessing everything, I believe story number 4 is the most likely outcome of what happened. But hey, I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. If there's anything I've left out, good or bad, all feedback is welcome. Anyway, it's your boy Mr. Inconspicuous, aka David Strappingborough, and I'm out. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. This video is an investigative documentary. It does not intend to mock, shame or humiliate any individuals or groups involved. No unverified claims or allegations are presented as fact. All information included has been publicly shared by third parties, media sources, or the individuals themselves. I am not responsible for the accuracy or opinions expressed in third-party content. This video is created under fair use for commentary, analysis, and reporting, and complies with YouTube's community guidelines. This video does not seek to glorify or glamorize negative behavior, but aims to provide an educational insight into realities often overlooked or unseen by the wider public. As I always say, there's one simple rule: if you don't speak on it, I can't report on it. I hope you enjoy the video. Some things are better left unsaid. The streets have spoken.